Hours are inching closer and closer to 7 o'clock, when of course we will be waiting for the main aspect of today's program, and that would be President Cyril Ramaphosa's State of the Nation address. Of course, getting to this point, preparing for SONA is always a massive task for Parliament and the various administrative arms of Parliament. But this year it was especially hard in light of the devastating fire that happened. I think it was at the beginning of February? No, it was
the 2nd of January.
It was early in January, right off the back of Archbishop Tutu's passing. So it's been a rough year all around. Speaking to me about all of this right now, I have the spokesperson to Parliament, Moloto Mothapo, a familiar face on our channel. Moloto, thank you so much for joining us. You and I spoke quite a bit the week of that fire. Can you just explain to us and just help us understand once again how much went into us ending up here today? Obviously, it was next level in terms of preparation. You guys did not have much time, but there was a commitment from government as a whole and from Parliament especially that the workings of Parliament would continue. Nothing was going to stop because, you know, democracy needed to continue and Parliament has a very important part in that. Just take us back. How hard was it getting to this point today, Moloto?
Well, it has been quite a challenge. You have been in Parliament for several years now. And you know the kind of work that goes into the preparation for the State of the Nation address. You know, once we receive, even before we receive the communication, official letter from the President to the presiding officers, asking them to convene a joint sitting of Parliament for the State of the Nation address, you know, the work would have already started. Because we know that is a standard feature on the program of Parliament at the beginning of the year. So we had already made a lot of progress by December when we went for holidays. We had already made a lot of progress in preparation for the State of the Nation address. We've already put a budget that we're already spending for the State of the Nation address. But then come the second day of the new year, fire broke out. And it destroyed the venue where we normally hold the State of the Nation address, the National Assembly chamber. So we had to immediately, put in place alternative measures for the venue of the State of the Nation address. We had to sort of throw out of the window the significant portion of our preparation for the State of the Nation address. We had to readjust our plans, our budget, with a view that, this is no longer taking place where it's supposed to be or where we planned for it to be. So when the city came with various options, and we are thankful for them for coming through, and they gave us this hall, this majestic historical hall. It is very helpful. But, it can only do so much in terms of the infrastructure to enable the proceedings of the joint sitting of Parliament. So we had to put in place certain infrastructure that we would ordinarily not have to worry about paying for, because it's already installed in the National Assembly Gallery that is now gutted. Things like conferencing systems, broadcasting, because the proceedings here have to be broadcast to the nation through the Parliament television, through the SABC and other broadcasters. We had to put the translation services. We had to transform the hall into a proper chamber of Parliament with functionalities of technology that enables the execution of the rules of the joint sitting by the presiding officer. So to put all those things within 3 weeks, to organize them, to procure them, because it's uncharted waters. We have never done something like this before. No one has experience of holding the State of the Nation address outside of the regular precincts of Parliament. It's the first time since 1994. It has never happened. So we had to navigate all these challenges. We had to readjust, be creative and all those kind of things. But we are happy that today we are here. You were taken on a tour inside. You have seen our state of readiness, how we have transformed the hall. Even outside, you can see that the work, final touches are taking place. So we are happy.
It's got a very concert feel this time around. Yesterday we were commenting on how it looks like we're going to be sitting and watching an orchestra or something. So that's the one main thing that stood out to me. Moloto, I don't know if you are able to just give us an update on what's happening in terms of the forensic investigations. Has there been any movement on that? Are those still running, the investigations into the fire?
Well, the court processes are continuing. I'm sure you have seen that there is a twist in the court regarding the alleged instigator of the fire. There is an investigation that is ongoing by the Hawks. There is a team of assessors from the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure that are busy combing the entire place that has been gutted by fire to determine it, firstly, the structural state of the building, whether it can still be repaired or it requires completely to be destroyed and built afresh. What has been destroyed, to quantify the cost and all those kind of things. We'll get a report when they are ready. Of course, the presiding officers are anxious, as everyone else, to know the outcome of the investigation, to know the outcome of the court processes, and also the outcome of the team of assessors, so that we can know what is the way forward. But as we have said, we have put measures in place for after the State of the Nation address, the debate here, and the reply by the President. We pack up everything now. We go back to the precincts of Parliament, and the National Assembly, which now does not have a house, will now move into the Good Hope Chamber, where we will be conducting the hybrid sittings of the National Assembly. The budget speech by the minister that will follow the State of the Nation address will take place in that historic chamber as well.
Yeah, that is a nice chamber. The Good Hope Chamber is a nice and spacious chamber. Yeah. Moloto, I'm glad that this year we haven't heard the term, the opening of Parliament, because I can remember when I first started working at Parliament, that term was used interchangeably with SONA, and you guys always reminded us, no, it's not the opening of Parliament, because in fact the work of Parliament started. I've been doing committees for the last since I got back from leave. Committees have been sitting, MPs have been sitting, you guys have all been sitting. So it's no longer the opening of Parliament. Parliament, it's the State of the Nation address, and the work's been continuing. Can you just give me some key highlights that we can look forward to this year in terms of legislation on the table that's going to be dealt with?
Yeah, well, the work of Parliament has already started, but we have, of course, come to accept the colloquial reference to this State of the Nation address as the opening of Parliament. I suppose it means that, it's an official beginning of the program of Parliament for the year. So we've come to accept it. But, of course, you are right. The committees of Parliament, we have said, the presiding officers have said that this fire is not going to derail or to delay any aspect of the program of Parliament. And that's why, a week after the fire already, committees had kicked off. We've seen, the committees on basic education and higher education inspecting the school openings and the university state of readiness. SCOPA as well has been conducting its business. There are currently interviews of the Inspector General, by the Intelligence Committee. So there's a lot of, and then the legislation, of course, that will be coming. There are those that are governed by the Constitutional Court rulings. For instance, the Electoral Act. That has to be finalized before by June or July. There are, several laws that have to be prioritized. And so the work of Parliament has already begun, and it will continue to intensify, especially after the State of the Nation address. Another
long year for you and me then.
It's always a long year, but there is a lot of activities that we are anticipating, and we are saying that nothing is going to stop us, and we are happy that you guys are here, and the work is behind us is complete in anticipation of this evening. I'm sure you are seeing the elevated platform there, where the President will be observing the 21-gun salute and the national anthem. It is strategically placed below the statue of the President, because 32 years ago, when our founding President of our democratic constitutional country, came out of prison, he addressed the public for the first time on that balcony. Who was holding the mic? It was this President. And today he will be observing the 21 gun salute directly below the statue of the president 32 years later. And then once he has observed together with the presiding officers, he will then come down and together with the presiding officers light the 3 candles.
Okay.
Those are electric candles. That is to remember South Africans that we lost during the 2 years of COVID-19.
Moloto Mothapo, thank you so much for your time as always. That was the spokesperson to Parliament, Moloto Mothapo, just giving us some feedback and input into how we got to this venue today. Of course, off the back of the devastating fire, Parliament has had to pull out all the stops to be able to host and bring the nation the President's address tonight.